Hi, everyone, and welcome to the End of Life Journey and Beyond, the Sands of Time. My name is Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I am a proud bereavement specialist. Hi, Susan. Good to see you.
Welcome, Lisa. I was waiting for the hi, Susan. You usually say
Yes.
hello, Lisa. Hello, everybody. My name is Susan Capurso. I'm an end-of-life doula and proud legacy specialist.
That's right.
So always inquire about some legacy projects that I can help you and your family work on. Today's video is not too long, but it's a special topic that most of us go through in life. So Father's Day is right here on the brink, right? Is it next week?
Sunday,
I think.
Sunday.
Okay. So we want everybody to know that losing a father is deeply emotional. It's an emotional experience for all of us. Even if you don't have the greatest relationship, somehow it seems to be a very emotional one. And especially when it comes to celebrating Father's Day. So it's really important to acknowledge and honor the individual grief that you may be feeling, while also finding ways to feel your father's presence in your life and to celebrate his life. So, Lisa and I have both lost our fathers, as most of you know if you've been watching any of our videos. And today, what we'd like to do is share a few suggestions and thoughts on creating a meaningful Father's Day tribute if your dad is no longer with us. Lisa has something really special that she wants to share with us today, and I look forward to this presentation.
Thank you. I also want to point out that our husbands were fathers too. And
Oh,
that's
that's right.
really
That's right.
important to realize as we look at our loss and the loss for our children too. Very important as they look at Father's Day and figure out what they're going to do about that as well. So it's both. It's both for
Absolutely,
them. And
because for all the years that you were lucky enough to have your husband involved in your children's lives, most times it's the wife or the mother that plans these Father's Day celebrations and that's in charge of these things. So I'm sorry I didn't bring that in the introduction. Thank you for pointing that out, Lisa.
that's right. Yeah. So this is, this has a lot of memories to it. And we're going to talk about celebrating. How's that? And you can't see me at all. I'm not sure why. We can see you.
I,
We
I can
can't.
see you. No,
Okay.
no, no, Lisa, I can see you.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. So
Hopefully
Father's
everybody else will, but we can hear your voice bright and
That's all
cheery.
right. So Father's Day is this Sunday, as we discussed. And I want to go into a little bit about thinking about our grandfathers, our uncles, our father figures. There are many people who just have a father figure that was maybe a special, man in their lives, somebody who, acted as a father. So, when we think about our fathers, what words come to mind? We think about maybe fun we had with them or different things we did with them or, how they helped us and guided us. Those are the things that we think about for fathers. And then, of course, we think about our spouse, who is the father of our children. And what kind of words do we have that come to mind as well? They enjoy their company. They were part of the family. They gave us guidance. They gave the kids protection and help and support. So all of those things. So here's the thing, when we think about Father's Day, some people just feel very sad because their fathers and their spouses are not around. And that's normal. We feel that way. But we also can feel that there's so many memories that we have and that we can share and that we can keep those memories with us. And again, you know me, I believe in a lot of memories, and that's how we keep the legacy going throughout the years. And so we don't want to just forget this day. This is not just another day. This is a day that we remember the love that we had for our fathers and our spouses. And we hope that others will share that. And again, sometimes it wasn't ideal, sometimes it wasn't the best thing. But there are hopefully some good memories that come out of your own life. So I want to share with you my situation. Some of you know it and some of you don't know it. Of course, we have PowerPoint that's not moving right now. So there we go. There's 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 what we have as there we go. Okay. So So my father died in 1984. Okay, and I was 30 years old then, which is really young to lose your father. I think about 30 years worth with him, and what an amazing father he was. I mean, he was just incredible. I love being a father. And then, of course, I think about my husband, who in 2009 died. Um, and he loved being a father. At first, he didn't want to be, but I convinced him that it was a good idea. And then I think about my Uncle Joe, who was my father basically for 40 years. This is my father's baby brother, and it was a great relationship. He really stepped up and gave me all kinds of support and advice and was always there. He just died in March, and I miss him. This is my first Father's Day without him, and so it I feel it a little more this year. I miss him very much. We always did some Father's Day kind of things together. I always sent him a card. We made a phone call. I always sent him some pictures of, the kids and what everybody's doing. So this is a little hard for me, a little different. Being used to, of course, the others being gone. So, again, time doesn't matter. We all know that. It's not about the time. It's about the relationships we have and what happens, in time to them. So, how do we celebrate them? How to remember those who are no longer with us? I speak about this a lot, but I'm going to talk about it again. Um, the photo albums that we have, the memories that we have, the movies that we have. I mean, I still have 8 tracks. I still have these big movies that I play. I've tried to convert as much as I can because family movies are really important. And then of course the stories that get handed down to generation, and even food. We're going to talk about food too, because some things are just they're acquainted, with food. You remember certain things, and that's what you remember. So, all these things put together are ways that you can keep that person in your heart, in your memories, and hopefully right there in front of you. So, I want to talk about food because my father loved food. And hot dogs were his big thing. He loved hot dogs. He loved going to Nathan's. He loved putting all kinds of stuff on his hot dogs. And so I look at a hot dog and I just smile. I smile. It's funny that a food can bring about all kinds of memories, but we would go to Nathan's together or we'd go, to some kind of, park or whatever, and he wanted a hot dog. So, hot
Lisa,
dogs are it for me. A food for
Lisa.
you? You have a food for you at all?
Well, no, I wanted to let you know that I recently did a presentation on legacy, and there was a chef that spoke, and he talked about legacy and food. And at
Ah,
first I thought, what could he possibly talk about? But he did go into all the delicious recipes, like you're saying, Nathan's famous hot dogs or the pancake house, and those connections. There are a couple recipes that my mom and my grandmother used to make that you smell it, you taste it, you see it. It's all your senses that are involved that bring you back to that point in time and make you feel good. So there is a legacy behind food. Absolutely.
there is. And by the way, the pancakes. So I was in charge every Sunday morning of making pancakes for my family. And my father would say to me, "Okay, Lisa Melanie, it's Sunday, your turn." I mean, I hear him saying that. And I was little. I mean, I love cooking and stuff, but Sunday morning was my thing, and pancakes were it for Sunday mornings. So, and it's interesting on Sunday mornings, I still like that special something. And I love pancakes. So there it is. It's still there, it's still with you. Well, so now we've got vacations, and I want to turn to my husband. We did a lot of vacations. I mean, this is Disney World, obviously Epcot. But we had an RV. We traveled a lot. We went to national parks. We went down to Florida a number of times. We went to Maine. I mean, there's so many things that we did. And of course, that legacy of those vacations are amazing. Everything we did together, everything we experienced together, that's a wonderful legacy for the children to talk about. And of course, I have movies of it, all kinds of wonderful memories. They were little there, by the way, really little
I
there.
think it's important for other people. I think it's important maybe to look back on some of those photos and some of those vacations and pull those family trips and talk about them and look at the pictures and laugh about them. We have one memory in Epcot where one of my sons was afraid of birds. So they were walking 10 feet in front of us, and my husband had popcorn in his hand and would throw popcorn in front of my son, and the birds would dive down and get the popcorn. And he thought it was hysterical. It wasn't hysterical to my son. We still laugh about it till this day now.
Sure. Isn't that interesting? The stories, right? The stories
Right.
that just come, and many, many stories here. Camping. We used to go camping, and we started in tents and went from a tent to a pop-up to an RV. And we loved camping. I mean, the kids really knew what camping was about. And rowboating and hiking and doing all those
So, in
wonderful.
other words, whatever you do with your family, look for those memories, look for the stories, and sit around the table and talk about it and laugh about them.
That's right. That's right. How wonderful. Just wonderful. Makes me smile. So the legacy and the remembrances, this is our firstborn, and this was our first Halloween together. And we love dressing up. We were the super family. So you see the super kid, that's my daughter Sari, who's going to be 40 next year. Okay. And the super dad and the super mom. I mean, that was our first Halloween together with this little baby. And passing that down, Halloween, well, we did. And I'll show you how. They're the grandkids. And there they are, all dressed up, enjoying Halloween and having fun dressing up. And so we can tell those stories. I tell the stories all the time about Grandpa Fred and how he pretended to be this and how as a family we did this together. And here they are dressing up, and keeping that legacy coming down just makes you really smile and makes you realize that's what is a part of all of us. That feeling and that sense of doing something that we all did. We love dressing up and we love doing it as a family, and there they are. So it really makes you smile because this is what gets passed down. And this is what you remember as the years go by. And the fathers had everything to do with it because they were part of it, because they were a part of the family. And you just have to keep remembering all those beautiful memories together. So, talk about that. So, Father's Day, what does it mean to you? So, for me, it's stories of love and sweet memories. The food, the places to go, people to share it with, obviously the legacies that get passed down from generation to generation, the photos, the movies, all the lessons that we learned from each other. I tell, like there were certain things that he would always say, never, never quit. And I would say to the kids, listen, Grandpa Fred used to say, never, never quit. And there it is, that same legacy, things he said, things he did, what we learned. And then, of course, how we keep that loved one in our hearts. So we pass down the stories, we pass down all the things that we've learned, and hopefully it continues. That's how somebody lives on forever.
I think sometimes, Lisa, I think it's up to the older person in the family
It is.
because we have more memories than the younger people do. And if we don't take that responsibility and share those funny moments, like when my husband flung open the shower door and got my sons with baby powder when they came out of the shower. I mean, but they're easy to be forgotten. My husband was a jokester, but
Hmm.
I remember different memories than they remember. That's the thing. So to keep those alive, you need to talk about it when the memory pops into your mind. So
Right.
I constantly try and say all the time, oh, remember when daddy said, or daddy did, or daddy used to do that, or when you were, well, I just said this the other day. I said to Jesse, because they mentioned something, they're Giants fans, Giant and Jet fans, and they mentioned something about the Eagles and how horrific the Eagles are. I don't know what it was. So right away I said, oh my gosh, do you remember, Jesse? You were about 5 years old and we were grocery shopping and you wanted that foam football so bad, that Nerf football in the grocery store. And I didn't really get it, and all they had was the Eagles, but I didn't care. It's a football, and you're going to play with it at home. And when we walked into that house and you ran up to daddy and gave him that Eagles football, he threw it right outside the back door. And he said, do not bring that into my house. And it's funny. We laugh about it now, and that memory would never have been shared around the table if I didn't bring it up the other day. So it's important for the older people with more memories, no matter who this person is to you, whether they were the grandpa then, or the dad, or the uncle, or it's up to you to constantly invoke those memories.
That's right. Right. So Father's Day, this is what it looks like now. It's making memories and keeping the day special in whatever way. Maybe it's me grabbing a hot dog from Ethan's, whatever it is. It's cooking foods that, we all liked. It's going places. I remember the first Father's Day. My father bought tickets to Special Olympics, and it was only a couple days after he had died. And I said, this is what Daddy wanted to do. This is what we're going to go do. And we went to Special Olympics over by Hofstra. So, it's doing that. It's looking at the albums. It's sharing the movies. It's smiling at the stories and sharing it with relatives too, so that everybody can really, share. Planting, some people plant a tree or they visit a special place that was really important to that person. Or they create a legacy book for themselves that they can pass down because, as you said, we're the ones with the memories. So if we don't do that, who knows? Nobody knows. We haven't told them anything then. So
That's right. And younger children will never know nothing. The buck stops here.
that's right. That's right. And by the way, my granddaughter wants to be an architect, and I talk all the time about her grandpa and how he was an unbelievable architect. And it's like in her blood. It's, whether it happens to her or not, this is something that she's interested in and she's talking about it, and she's going to be 12 in August. So, and he always wanted to be an architect. I mean, that's something he always wanted to be. So it's interesting. And if I hadn't mentioned it, she wouldn't realize that. She wouldn't have known it. It's so nice to be able to see it and talk about it. It's when you suppress it and then that person isn't alive anymore in your heart. They're not there for you to share. And that's what makes this so important, that we keep those people around us, that the only way that we help with their memories is to keep everything part of us. They're part of us. Every single thing that we do, every place that we go, who we are, that's what it is. That I try to help people understand that. And many people don't embrace it because maybe it's painful or maybe it's too difficult or maybe it brings back stuff. But there's so many memories and so many good things that I'm sure people can really think about if they really dig down a little bit. And as I said, it might not be that traditional father. It might be somebody who was in their lives who acted like their father. I mean, my father was only my father for 30 years, but my uncle was my substitute father for 40 years. So I look at that and I say, wow, I had different people, but in some ways they were very similar. And in other ways, they guided me, through different type parts of my life.
I want
And
to mention something else. So it's easy to suppress memories, to forget about memories, right? It's easy. As we grow older, we forget what we ate yesterday. I
sure,
mean, come on. So even the past memories, it's easy to suppress and especially with the sadness of grief. You don't want to think about, you want to be numb. You don't want to think about certain things. So if you're having a gathering with your children, grandchildren, whoever it may be, something that I think that you can do is to get out a notebook or a pad ahead of time, and think of a couple of stories or funny things, positive things that related to the particular group that you're getting together with and eating with. So that they triggers, that's what I mean. Triggers on certain stories. Remember that time in Epcot with the popcorn? Jot them down, a few bullets. So this way we have a toast or whatever to dad or grandpa. And you could say, I thought of a couple things this week, but maybe we can just start a conversation with. And when the minute you say something, everybody else will chime in with their own memories. And it'll become a really nice, whether it be for 15 minutes or an hour conversation, you can do this.
it's great. Listen, it doesn't have to be long. The point is it's in you. It's there. And it's wonderful to share it and make it real for everybody because that person is still with you and just not here. That's it, just not
Right.
here. And that's how I feel about everybody we've lost, which is why the next poem. I want to say the poem again. We started a long time ago. We've been doing this now a while, but I think that it still shows everything that we want, what we're saying about life and about death and about living on. And it's still true. It's that same poem by Rabbi Kamens, and it's the legacy and the memories that live in our hearts. And I'm going to do it again. At the rising of the sun and its setting, we will remember you. At the blowing of the wind and the chill of the winter, we will remember you. At the opening of the buds and the rebirth of spring, we will remember you. At the blueness of the skies and the warmth of summer, we will remember you. At the rustling of the leaves and the beauty of autumn, we will remember you. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember you. For as long as we live, because you are part of us, we will remember you. And that's it. That's the essence of everything that I've tried to say and what it is about Father's Day and any day of the people who we loved and we remember because they are a part of us. We will always remember them as long as they live with us in our hearts and in our memories. So I thank you for letting me share that.
Perfect. Perfect. That was really nice. And I think we talked really about everything, about sharing the memories, the old photos, the storytelling, visit a meaningful place, a place that had meaning for them,
Yes. Yes.
right? Maybe grab a few people and go where it had meaning for them. It's not about you, maybe go on a fishing boat if that was his thing. But use the time to reflect and share your stories and express your gratitude,
Yes.
and how you miss them, of course, but express your gratitude and celebrate them in such a way. Get support if you need it, and journal. I read something recently about consider writing letters, personal letters to them. And this is a tribute. This is a tribute to hold on to your memories about, and the letters can be about the impact that they had on your life. And I always read really great things about journaling, and we talk about
Yes.
that. So that can be very healing as well. So
Yes.
I think we covered quite a bit here today,
Yes.
right, Lisa?
Yes. Yes.
And the one thing that we do want to share with everybody is that we hope you have a blessed and wonderful Father's Day.
And thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
See you next week.
See you next week.